Aloha. I wanted to see if I can mix in like a quick video real quick and just connect some dots. I've been wanting to connect some dots with the whole twerking mentality that's going on around here, uh, and what that does to the divine feminine, what it is doing, and the timing of everything. So see if I can do a quick one. These little storylines that get put out there, they go through generations. So from our parents or our grandparents, we get stuff sent through our generations through an individual sort of pusherman. So it's not just drugs that get pushed into the community. It's mainly ideas, and these ideas are the ones that are the foundation to these drugs. Another idea is the physical worship, the worship of the physical realm, and which is a separation from a spiritual connection to the self. So these dots that get put out there, they get put out there under the guise of our benefit, but they're really such as like the pill and all this, and what that does to the body, and what that does to it's so deep. I don't even want to go into the depths of that stuff. But anyway, so this goes back to like marry everything. You got to look at every angle is covered. So from high school, I remember out of nowhere, Cash Money Records was coming out in '96 to 2000. And throughout high school, it was just all about that. It was just all about that nonsense. And the main thing that was sticking out in that world, in that time frame, was the main rapper at that time. His name was actually Juvenile, and that's the mentality was that's getting put out. They want to keep you in a juvenile, like a PG-13 mentality, and the rated R version mentality is what you're living as what you become as an adult. But your child mind is being triggered over and over and over again, and it starts all the way from you when you're a baby, and that TV gets clicked on, and that music gets clicked on the radio. It's just a continuous loop of manipulation, mind manipulation, and programming. So we got music, we got movies, we got the education system, you got politicians, you got your parents, you got everything. Every base is covered, and all of it is designed to look and feel a certain way, but really what it's doing is installing programs. They're installing programs into the system that is kind of like a trickle install. And these programs, they get installed. They might get installed when you're like 12, 13, 14, but they won't become active in your so-called reality until you're about 21, 22, whatever that program was designed to do, whether it's money or the American dream or war or whatever it is. This stuff gets implanted into our heads, and we create an idea of who we are based upon what we see around us and what other people, so-called empowered people around us, do, and what they say and how they think. Basically, it always links back to the worship of a physical, the physical realm, and a separation from your spirit, and which means a separation from your family, a separation from yourself, a separation from each other. Constantly, everything is about separation, and once you become, it's that divide and conquer mentality. So you are at war constantly, and after being at war so long, so many years, you have the manifestation of actual war, where we vote on sending bombs overseas to do something to somebody else who we don't even know, our brothers and sisters on the other side of the planet, we don't even know. But these mentalities. So it starts all the way when we're a child. So when we get up to the so-called voting age, this is another dot I wanted to throw in there, was the whole Selma movie coming out, and that time frame of that, and how that was put under the guise of, empowerment. For ain't no mistake that came out when this whole Black Lives Matter things come out. And even as much as Black Lives Matter is out there right now and the positive stuff that's going on with that, you gotta understand, Black Lives Matter is itself is a step back from inhabiting the depths of power, the depths of what that matter actually means. Even the word matter, and then Black Lives Matter, that to who? To who? So Black Lives Matter to, we're asking, we're like saying, like, it's basically a cry to, there's a difference between inhabiting a space of how deep, how everything on this planet originates from that earth sense, from that earth human being, from the beginnings of humanity, to be commercialized into an idea of Black Lives Matter. This is basically a defense mechanism, but it's not. It's a defense mechanism on a layer, a surface layer of observation based upon an aggressor. So if we stay, that's still a war. That's still being caught up in a war. And at the same time, it's no mistake that you have Nicki Minaj and all these other people out here selling sex and the physical reality through twerking, and the whole word magic of that, twerking. And basically, when I was walking out today, and I was like, man, that's just an idea, that's just an implant for so that's put under the guise of like empowerment of women. Basically, it's not a healthy state of mind. It has nothing to do with the divine feminine, but the act of twerking is an empowering sort of feeling in that moment, because there's a focus there. There's a worship of the body, and a focus there that sits in that space, only because there hasn't been any focus or giving a shit about the female or the feminine design from forever. And that's what has to happen in a patriarchal system. So there's timings, there's like timing release points for these actions and these mentalities that are out there. So you got your kids twerking, got your kids cartoon people doing things like this. This whole thing is it's a worship. It's a worship of an idea and separation, and that links straight back into how marriage and reproduction is commercialized so much. Just like when you buy a vehicle, you got to pay payments on that vehicle. So that is a benefit to the system. That is a benefit to a system who thrives on people who are paying into that system. So the same thing goes with this is why sex is sold so much. They want you to keep reproducing, because it's just like a vehicle. You get stuck in a system for having to provide for that child. So sex keeps getting sold over and over. Wherever you look, sex is sold to you, and you will be subconsciously in that state of mind constantly, over and over again, getting that state of mind triggered over and over again. And then your idea of growing up and getting out of that space, the next step to that is, get yourself one woman, get yourself into a committed relationship and do the right thing, get married and have a kid and get a job. That's so-called getting straight. But that's part of the system. That's a deeper layer of the system. That's like what wants to be, what's being sold. That's exactly what the system thrives off of. So they turn some kind of glory out of reproducing, some kind of like yeah, it's basically like this is what your life is all about, the physical reality, making babies, and twerking is just another version of amplifying that sexual trigger, keeping that trigger of sex going over and over again, and it gets younger with time. To keep getting the kids' minds at a younger age. So it goes into music videos, into the cartoons. Meanwhile, there's a constant flow of people getting locked into this grid and having to do whatever it is they got to do. They got to make ends meet to get out of that system, not get out of the system, just make it within that system. And then by the time you realize what's really going on, years and decades out of life have already been passed under the guise of so-called living it up, living your life, being happy and all, and happiness, and what that means, So yeah, I just wanted to throw all these dots out there to show how deep this this goes. So this is based on a patriarchal society, and this really is what has to happen. It's that sort of soaking the feminine, and taking the power away from the feminine under the guise of empowering. So in another layer, that whole twerk idea, that word itself is basically get your ass to work. And so you're getting your ass to work, you're shaking your ass to get to work. Right at the same time, they're getting ready to come out with these politics and start selling, oh yeah, this is a $15 minimum wage. It's basically, they got to start selling something big because they had 8 years of hope. Now they got to put something out there for people to actually feed off of. And it's just a deeper layer of, they're just typing numbers in the keyboard. Their money, that fake currency, is just typing a number in a keyboard. And we think it's something. But basically, it's a deeper layer. And we won't know what's really happening until however many years out down the road, thinking we got something from somebody, when really, and by that time there's already another layer of something going on, as far as another program being sold for another chess move from that Pusherman. Meanwhile, we're three or four chess moves behind, in the subconscious, behind what's actively being sold to the adults and the children. So I just wanted to leave it there and just put out there to pay a little more attention to the word magic that's out there, and how everything is connected. There is no one thing that is disconnected from another. Everything is connected. So I'll leave it there. Until next time, peace, love, and harmony.